Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Miftahul Jannah. I'm from 5D English Education Department. That here courses research and development that I want to explain chapter 15 and 16. But before that we start from chapter 15. The title is Qualitative, Naturalistic and Ethnographic Research. So we enter to the explanation. Foundation of qualitative, naturalistic, and ethnographic inquiry. Theoretical base of these kinds of research is rooted in the theory concerning the topic. Okay, next we enter to the ontology of qualitative research. Qualitative research regard people as anticipatory. Epistemology of qualitative research, behavior and therapy. Methodology of qualitative research. Qualitative method is used to understand people's belief. So there are three from the qualitative research. Should one have hypothesis in qualitative research? The answer is an alternative to research. The hypothesis is qualitative research is set of research questions. So next, we enter to naturalistic research. Main kinds of naturalistic inquiry are case study, comparative study, retrospective studies, subnotes. However, agree. To enter the ethnographic research. Ethnographic research is a descriptive, analytic, and ethnocultural study of the culture, value, belief, and practice. So, critical ethnographic. Ethnography is the category analytical and ethnographic study of culture. So the key of concern from ethnographer here is how far out to go to in order to understand a situation. Autoanalytical research involves research writing about the topic of great personal. So next, virtual ethnographic. Virtual ethnographic refers to an ethnographic research approach that are carried out in the online setting or internet. Usually called it internet. Ethnographers are interested in studying phenomenological research. Phenomenological research is a qualitative research approach that seeks to understand and describe the universal essence of the phenomena that occur in first. So that here we can look in my PPT that about virtual and phenomenological. The next explanation is planning qualitative, naturalistic, and ethnographic research. In many ways, the planning issues in qualitative research are not inclusive. They apply to other forms of research. For example, identify the problem and research purpose, deciding the focus on the study, identify the research questions, selecting the research design and instrumentation, address validating or reporting. Well, there are several things that we have to know about the planning qualitative, naturalistic, ethnographic research. Role relations boundary maintained in the research, the maintenance of balance between distance, and involve intellectual issue. So next, reflexivity. Reflexivity is about acknowledge your role in the research. In qualitative research, you are part of research process. In your prior experience, assumption and belief will influence the research process, reflect in central components of the qualitative strategy. Relativity suggests that research should be constant and deeply acknowledged, so that here the clear one in my PPT. So next, enter about doing qualitative research. Qualitative research is interested in discovering the various and regularly in effect of one or more particular independent variable on an outcome. Qualitative research is interested in the causal process at work in understanding how one or more interventions or factors lead to an outcome, the main outcome of their causal linkage. Qualitative research can tell us correlation, how much, whether, and what, while qualitative research can tell us how, why, and process involved in understanding and explaining how things occur. And again, this background we set out 12-step process for doing qualitative research. The first one is locating at a field of study, formulating research questions, understanding ethical issues, deciding sampling, finding the role and managing entry into the context, finding informants, development and maintaining relation in the field, data collection institute, data collection outside the field, data analysis, living field. Okay, there are several challenges in qualitative, ethnographic, naturalistic approach. This might affect the reliability of the research, including definition of situation, relativity, the halo effect, and the impunity. So that here there are the several challenges in qualitative, so that you can more read my PPT about the material. That here the title is Qualitative, Naturalistic, and Ethnographic Research. So here we know that how the important this research for us, and based on the title we know the meaning and what for. Maybe that's all my explanation about the chapter 15. So next we come to the chapter 16. Hi, welcome back. This is about the chapter 16. The title is Historical and Documentary Research. So next we enter the introductions. It aims to convey the value of historical study, to consider the researches that may be available for the research and how relevant source should be handled. The chapter goes beyond common of interest that attract source to consider the shared diversity of source and the way that are affected by idea of progress and loss. So next, about some preliminary consideration, theory, and method. In search of the contents, historical was no longer regarded as the branch of literature and a traditional of women's scholarship, as author and textbook, biography or memory, translation and editor. So here we know that about Plavis example about this 1975, because professional and historical science developed at the time, when it was assumption that women's place was in a home. So the requirement and process of documentary analysis. When discussing the commentary, sure it is conventional to differentiate between primary and secondary. Therefore, encompasses every kind of ability which people have left of their past activity prevails during the period being studied. The latter discuss the period study, but are created sometime after it is some way removed from the actual event that are the focus. Finally, we need to pay attention to the meaning of the document. Next, some problem surrounding the use of documentary sources. Documentary are selective in the term of information present. Some documentary or some documents are produced with research in mind. Most interests of some individuals have demonstrably sought with eye on future to generate account of their activity. Others are produced for personal use, are less self-conscious. The voice of the past whose account counts. They move away from structuralism in all the social science. It is important in accounting for the increased number of historians who have turned to biography in the last 30 years. So, the word example, or we can say that the biographical approach to the historical of educations. His actions report a word example of my own practice as the researcher in historical of educations indicated several key points in the planning and doing such research. The personal motivation and commitment of the research as historian and the process involved. Focus on my biographical project on Mary Bright Adams. Okay, next we come to the background to the research. The aim of this project was to design and write significant, and the research problem is turning to the past meant much more the focus socially European political world influence, and anticipating the process of research the past. The importance of it was hard July Day in 1990 when I first read Mary's personal speech in support of free school meal in dirty copy. So we can understand that widening the research, uncovering public and private research and some practical considerations. Much of Mary event is missing because her son destroyed the letter writing. This belongs to the example. So building up the political profile, that Bride Adam was among the thousands of women recruited to teach is 19 quarterly emeriti. So the conclusion of this chapter, maybe this chapter is little short from the before chapter. So the conclusion to the word thus who want to do space war or different approaches are possible even with the exciting verses. It is possible to correct the lost life and even by going beyond the official record and declining for the raw material of historical. Maybe that's all my explanation about chapter 15 and 16. Maybe that I hope all of you understand from my explanation. I'm sorry for much problem or mistaken about the explanation because I also still study about it. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.